Good afternoon. I'm Norman Tripp, Chairman Emeritus of the law firm of Tripp, Scott, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I'm privileged today to have with me two of the leaders in higher education in Broward County and in South Florida. M.J. Saunders, who is president of Florida Atlantic University, and David Armstrong, who is president of Broward College, formerly known as Broward Community College. So, MJ, tell me a little bit about FAU, what's going on, and what's good for the people in Broward County.
Well, one of the most exciting things is this is our 50th anniversary year. So we're looking back at a half century of accomplishments and looking forward to the next half century of serving folks down here in South Florida. One of the most exciting things that we have to talk about is the fact that we now have an independent medical school. It'll be opening in fall 11. We're accepting our first class, and we had 1,500 applications for those 64 slots in the medical school. So we're excited about the interest in the medical school and what it's going to mean for the whole community.
I know you have a terrific oceanographic school. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
One of our oldest PhD programs was in ocean engineering, and one of the first in the country to specialize in that area. And just this year, we were named a National Center for Ocean Engineering, looking at alternative forms of energy that you get from either the ocean currents or the thermocline in the ocean. And that's located down here in Dania Beach in Broward County. So that's been one of the programs that's been one of the top programs for our university for many years. We, of course, have a wonderful School of Accounting, and we have students that do really, really well in the National Accounting Exam. Our Public Administration program has been named one of the best in the country, and that's located down here on our Fort Lauderdale campus.
Tell me the size of the Fort Lauderdale campus. I understand it's growing dramatically. And you share that also with Broward College, right?
We do. We actually have 3 campuses in Broward County. We have Dania Beach, which specializes in ocean energy. We have the downtown campus, which has programs as diverse as architecture and social work and public administration and graphic design. And we have a very, very large branch campus in Davie. And that's the largest branch campus of any of the universities in the Florida system.
Something important is going to happen in October. I think you're going to have a football field. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we're really excited about that. We are building an on-campus stadium for our football team and for our community. It's going to have 30,000 seats, and I encourage you and everybody in the community to buy tickets and come share in that experience. Our football team, under the legendary Coach Snellenberger, was the earliest team to go from starting a team to winning a bowl game. And so we're very supportive of that as something that builds a traditional campus and builds a lot of community and school spirit.
David, I've known you since I served on the State Board of Community Colleges when you were our leader, and you have just a wealth of experience in the state college field. Tell us a little bit about Broward College.
Well, Norman, thank you first of all for inviting both of us here, but I wouldn't be in Broward County and in Broward College and probably had the opportunities if it weren't for great people like you. And so your service to the state, both previously on the State Board of Community Colleges, on the FAU Board of Trustees, and now on the Board of Governors is a great thing for us, and we appreciate your leadership in higher education. And you've always been a strong supporter of 2+2 partnerships, and so I'm thrilled to have my new partner, Frank Brogan, of course, our chancellor now for our universities, was a great partner both at the state level and here locally, and now MJ is continuing that tradition, and we're looking forward to a lot of good and important things that maybe we can talk about to even strengthen our partnership more.
Tell me a little bit about what the 2+2 means. And you've expanded that, I think.
We continue to. So the rich tradition that Floridians sometimes take for granted is this 2+2 system where students can begin at one of our 28 community or state colleges, some are calling themselves now, and take the same curriculum with wonderful faculty members, and in our case, unlike so many other places in the state, literally stay on the same campus here in Davie or downtown Fort Lauderdale and take courses with FAU to complete their bachelor's degrees. The courses transfer, the faculty communicate with each other, they work together on the curriculum. Student support services make sure that transitions with issues like financial aid and those sorts of things are taken care of. So it provides an efficient way for students to stay locally here in Broward County, get a great education both at Broward College and then on to FAU. And truly, we're not just singing our praises here of our institutions. Many people set this up for years, and the partnership between these two institutions is richer than any that you will find in a deep and wide way between our two institutions.
Tell me a little bit about your diversity. I understand there's some special things that happen at Broward College.
You know, diversity in every way, Norman. We just had a recent graduation ceremony, and you'll see grandmothers graduating with their daughters and sometimes even granddaughters walking across the stage together. It's part of what community colleges do with an open door policy where we take people in where they are and give them an opportunity. Diversity in programs. We have most of our students are working toward a bachelor's degree in something. So they'll take their first 2 years and then move on to FAU and other universities around the nation, actually. But we also have over 150 different career and technical programs. So, for example, we have one of the largest police training programs working with the Broward Sheriff's Department with a police academy that is world class. We train 80% of the allied health workers and nurses in this community, the third largest nursing program in the community. So program diversity. And then ethnic and nationality diversity represents the richness that we have in Broward County with 1.8 million people that, in our case, about a third of whom are of Hispanic descent now, about a third of whom are Afro-American. But they represent over 150 different nations of origin. And so you can walk on our campuses and hear virtually any language being spoken. And that provides a great, rich cultural diversity that we enjoy on our campuses.
I know there's a change taking place in the state of Florida in that the community colleges are now, as we've talked about, renaming themselves state colleges. And I think they're stepping forward in coming into some new areas that are probably better served by the state colleges and will ease some of the burden on the universities. Could you talk to me a little bit about that change and how you see that taking place?
We started at Broward College. Let me first say that I think about 20 of our 28 colleges now are offering at least one bachelor's degree program. Almost all of them are in some kind of train people to go to a job that hopefully is open in our economy today. There's not as many open today as there were in the past, but in areas like nursing and allied health and teacher education and et cetera. So 3 years ago, we began our first program in teacher education, but focused specifically on the most critical needs in math and science at the secondary and middle grades, and then special education. And we had our first graduating class of that group this past year. It also represents the age and ethnic diversity of our community, so that helps out a lot. We do not want to duplicate programs that where there are not jobs down the road with our great partners like FAU and other universities. We want to work in partnership with them. We have such a large base in our lower division, though. What we found is, even though we have started some limited number of bachelor's degree programs, our transfers to FAU have continued to increase. And we like that because we want to keep them local and we want to keep them here supporting our local economy and our industry.
MJ, tell me, since you've been here for a year now, because you came as provost from Cleveland State University, where I happened to go to law school, and before that you were part of the faculty at the University of South Florida. Can you give me a little idea of what changes you see taking place right now at FAU that maybe you didn't imagine were going to be there when you took the job?
Well, one of the things that did attract me back to Florida was the strong articulation agreements with the community colleges, now state colleges. It really is a very, very effective way of making college affordable to an awful lot of people. The fact that Florida Atlantic University has strong agreements with 3 of our state colleges in the area, Broward College, Indian River, and Palm Beach State College. It means that we're serving a very, very long stretch of the South Florida coastline for students. The change to state colleges is one that's new. And so I think we're working our way through how to best make that serve our citizens, not duplicate programs, focus on our graduate programming, continue to strengthen the ties between the state colleges and the universities so the students still have that capability to move between institutions, have their courses accepted, and get a degree in a timely fashion. So I think that's one of our goals.
The one thing that's happening now in the state is it's becoming more and more expensive to go to a college, to go to a university. Can you talk to me a little bit about the advantages that these students in our area can have by using both of your institutions to help themselves get that degree, but be able to afford it and not come out of a situation where they owe $100,000 or $150,000 in program cost?
Well, I'll start with this, and MJ, I'm sure, has some wonderful examples. I'll say first that Florida is still very affordable compared to the rest of the nation. It might not seem that way to local residents in Florida who see tuition going up every year. The fact of the matter is the legislature just hasn't had the money to fully fund the growth and expansion of programs that we've had with medical schools, but just numbers of students that we've enrolled in both of our systems. And so they've had to pass more of the buck off, and they don't like it any more than parents do, I'm sure, to parents and students. I will tell you, Norman, when you were on our State Board of Community Colleges, you probably remember that our community colleges received about 75% of our operating budget funding from the state of Florida. We are about to approve our new operating budget for Broward College, and less than 50% of our operating budget will come from the state of Florida. The rest will come from tuition. That being said, it's still affordable, but not for everyone, and we know that. And so even during the last couple of years with budget cuts, we've worked very hard to supplement our support of student services and financial aid support to our students, both out of our budgets, but also with staff who first and foremost help those students fill out their federal financial aid form, get them qualified for need-based financial aid. And so we've helped a lot of students provide a safety net so that they can continue to school and get an education and a good job to provide for themselves and their families. And this program that MJ talked about includes helping students being able to transfer not only their credits, but also their ability to have financial aid and move on into our university.
All the information we have says that the Florida university system is still the second least expensive in the country. In other words, 49th of 50 states in cost of going to a university. So we're proud of that, and it is something, again, which I think is wonderful about Florida, that the legislature has recognized the importance of education and has funded it. We are in a situation where more of the costs are being put on the individual or on the family, and we're very aware of that. We're constantly looking for ways to raise philanthropic dollars for scholarships, to write for grants that will support students in school. So we're spending a lot of time and energy in making sure that students get the aid they're qualified for, putting together attractive packages for them, and helping them to get the degree that they want.
Well, I appreciate your coming. We're really, really lucky in Broward County that we have such great institutions, and of course the leadership is just outstanding. I say that because I know you both personally, and the people of Broward County have been served well by you. Thank you for coming by, and I say to everybody in Broward County, keep your kids home. They'll get a great education. Thank you.